Welcome to this audiobook summary of Freakonomics by Stephen D. Levitt and Stephen J. Dubner. This book takes a fascinating and unconventional look at how economic principles can explain various human behaviors and surprising societal trends. By connecting seemingly unrelated topics, Levitt and Dubner reveal how incentives, statistics, and human nature shape the world in unexpected ways. So, let's explore the intriguing insights Freakonomics has to offer. Uncovering hidden side of everything. Freakonomics starts with a simple question: what happens when you apply economics to everyday life? Most of us think economics is just about money and markets, but Levitt, an economist, believes it's much more. He and Dubner apply economic thinking to look at topics like crime, school performance, and even parenting. Their main message? Human behavior is often driven by incentives, and understanding these can help explain why people do what they do. Incentives, the key to understanding behavior. One of the book's core ideas is the power of incentives. Incentives are motivations that push people to make decisions, whether they realize it or not. These could be rewards, punishments, or social expectations. Levitt and Dubner show that when we understand the incentives people respond to, we can understand much of their behavior. For example, they ask why teachers might cheat on student test scores. In a high-stakes school environment, where teachers are rewarded for good scores and penalized for poor ones, some teachers might feel pressured to help their students by changing answers on tests. This is a controversial topic, but Levitt and Dubner argue that it's a clear case of how powerful incentives can lead people to make surprising choices. Why do drug dealers live with their mums? One of the book's most memorable chapters asks, why do drug dealers live with their mums? This question sounds funny, but it gets to the heart of some surprising economic principles. Levitt and Dubner explain that many drug dealers work in a sort of economic pyramid, where a few people at the top make a lot of money, while those at the bottom earn very little. After researching, Levitt found that most street-level drug dealers barely earn enough to get by. They live with their families because they can't afford to live independently. This chapter challenges the idea that illegal activities are necessarily profitable for everyone involved and gives us a closer look at the economics of crime. The power of information. Another key idea in Freakonomics is the power of information. People who control information often have a big advantage over others. Levitt and Dubner explore this by looking at the world of real estate. When a real estate agent sells a house, they may encourage the seller to accept a lower offer to get a faster sale. But when agents sell their own homes, they tend to wait for a better price. Why? They have more experience and know the market better, which helps them make better decisions. This chapter shows how having more information can change the way we act and the decisions we make. Whether it's in real estate, business, or personal relationships, knowing more usually leads to smarter choices. What makes a perfect parent? In another chapter, Levitt and Dubner dive into the topic of parenting. Many people believe certain factors, like how much time parents spend reading to their kids or enrolling them in after-school activities, make a huge difference in a child's success. But the authors argue that some factors we consider important actually don't have as much impact as we think. By examining data on thousands of children, Levitt and Dubner found that things like a child's home environment, neighborhood, and even parents' education level might play a bigger role in a child's future success. This chapter encourages us to rethink what we assume about parenting and the factors that truly influence a child's life. Crime and the unintended consequences. One of the most controversial ideas in Freakonomics is the link between legalized abortion and crime rates. Levitt and Dubner present data suggesting that legalizing abortion in the 1970s might have contributed to a drop in crime rates in the 1990s. They argue that fewer unwanted pregnancies led to fewer children growing up in difficult circumstances, which could, in turn, result in a lower crime rate as this generation reached adulthood. This theory sparked a lot of debate, but it highlights an important point: sometimes social policies have effects that aren't immediately obvious. It shows that the causes of social issues like crime can be far more complex than we might assume. Challenging conventional wisdom. Throughout Freakonomics, Levitt and Dubner challenge what they call conventional wisdom. They believe that many of our beliefs about society, success, and behavior are based on assumptions, not facts. By digging deeper and looking at the data, they often find surprising truths. They examine the impact of baby names, showing that certain names are associated with higher social and economic success. However, rather than suggesting names cause success, they argue that names are just reflections of broader social trends. Bringing it all together. The main takeaway from Freakonomics is that the world is full of hidden connections and surprising insights. By questioning assumptions, using data, and thinking critically about incentives, we can start to see why people make the choices they do. Levitt and Dubner show that economics isn't just about money, it's a way of understanding the hidden side of everything. Thank you for tuning into this audiobook summary of Freakonomics. Levitt and Dubner's book reminds us to stay curious and look beyond the obvious. If you enjoyed this summary, be sure to like, subscribe,